At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Morning everyone, Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal, already getting Mary Mac saying good morning with 2 cups of coffee. You got mine. Good morning to you all. Hope you're having a good start to your Thursday. It is Thursday, August 15th. And before we get to Krueger's Quickcast, how many of you were around in the Reading area when you looked outside, or maybe you're inside and you heard a little pitter-patter in your roof, like, what? And next thing you know, you look outside and it is raining. There was some rain around in Reading, in the Reading area and the surrounding area as well. And of course, some very strong thunderstorms in parts of Siskiyou County as well. A lot of lightning strikes, heavy rainfall, hail, the works, right? Now, of course, we didn't see that in the Reading area, but how many of you saw that and were surprised? I was looking at the posts that I made after that rain came through, and many of you were posting, yeah, I got some in my area. It smelled great, and that was really awesome. That was one of those times where I was glad I was wrong, because anytime we can get that rain in there without the lightning strikes, which is what happened, it's a welcome sight. So it was really awesome to be able to see all of that rain, and not a ton of rain, but it was certainly nice to see some of that rain. Let's get you to Krueger's Quickcast. This is just kind of a quick forecast for you to get out the door this morning, know what to expect as you're heading out the door, and what you can expect throughout the day today. So today is Thursday, August 15th. Temperatures right now, pretty mild in the valley. We're talking upper 60s. Even some low 70s out there right now. In the mountains, we're in the 40s, although a little bit warmer in Mount Shasta City at about 55, 56 for Wairika, 51 in Susanville. Bernie, not bad. Temperature of 46, and we got those low to mid 50s right now along the coast. Speaking of the coast, there's a look at your latest visibility this morning. And it looks like we are seeing a little bit of low cloud cover in some areas. This is in Elk Country, just north of Trinidad. You can see some of the overcast skies there, but it doesn't look like we're really seeing much in the way of low clouds. Let's take you out now to Crescent City Harbor District Cam. There's a bird hanging out on the roof there, making a nice little mess on the roof there too. But there you can see overcast skies there off in the distance. You can kind of see a boat heading out there. The fog isn't too terribly low, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. We'll take you back out to Elk Country, where again you can see those overcast skies, and the visibility is again fairly decent. Let's put it that way. 3-mile visibility in Crescent City, a little bit lower out in Eureka and Hoopa, about 1-mile visibility. Of course, elsewhere, looking at some pretty good visibility. All right, getting you out the door this morning on this August 15th. By 8 o'clock this morning, we're still in the mid-60s, give or take, for the valley. Mid-50s on average for most of the higher elevations. A little smoky, a little hazy for some of us as well. Let's take a look at Futurecast and start off with the smoke. Now, we are going to see a little bit of a shift in those upper level winds. Keep in mind, the surface winds, it can also drive that smoke, but you go just slightly above the surface, and that's typically where we see most of that smoke go. So that's what we're looking at here. Now, noon, notice the smoke, instead of moving due east that we've seen the last few days, it's actually going to be moving a little bit more down to the south and east, again, because of that shift in the winds. Now, it will start to shift a little bit more to the south as well as we go into tonight. So I don't anticipate to see a lot of haze and smoke for the valley, although you could smell it the last few days. But you will notice that by tonight and into tomorrow, there'll be more smoke. Now, I don't anticipate any more thunderstorms. I don't anticipate any showers in the valley, but Mother Nature always has a way of surprising us, right? But, you know, notice, and this is something I've been kind of monitoring here. We've got the afternoon clouds developing in the mountains. Could we see a stray shower come from some of those clouds? It's not out of the question, but it's something, you know, it's not going to be very prominent. We're not going to see a lot of it. And then there you can see by tonight, a lot of those clouds kind of dissipating. By the way, still seeing some of the low clouds along the coast. Temperatures today in the low 90s. It was actually a little bit warmer than expected yesterday, too. I think Redding got up to about 97 yesterday. Pretty hot. 93, though, for today. 92 degrees in Chico, and Willows about 90 degrees. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding and Red Bluff and Chico. I've got hazy in there for your Friday. It's going to start off probably a little smoky tomorrow morning. And then probably dissipating to hazy skies. Still probably a bit of that smell of smoke as well. But look at the weekend. What's that? Do I see a possibility for some rain in the forecast, even for parts of the valley? It's a possibility. We'll take a look at Futurecast here in a second in the deeper dive forecast. But you can see temperatures also cooler. Upper 80s for the valley for Saturday and Sunday. If you have outdoor plans this weekend, boy, oh boy, I tell you what, gorgeous weather for it. Temperatures low 90s for your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. For the coast, yeah, some showers, maybe some thunderstorms on Saturday. That's also the case inland, and not to mention for Trinity County. Cooler, too, before we see a slight increase in our temperatures going through next week, of course, minus the coast. There's a look at Siskiyou County and Modoc County. Saturday, chance for showers, maybe some thunderstorms as well. Now, I've got it in there for Alturas and Modoc County in general on Saturday. But I'll be honest, I think most of it will be to the west of Modoc County, but I don't want to rule it out. And I've got Susanville and the Eastern Mountains in general outside of where we may see some of those showers. Now, some areas like, say, northeastern Shasta County, say around Bernie, may see a stray shower or even a thunderstorm on Saturday. But as you start heading south and east, say, central, southern Lassen County, Plumas County, most likely you'll be dry on Saturday. Let's check in with everybody, see how you're doing out there this morning. And a lot of you kind of getting out there and you're saying your good mornings to everybody. Looks like we have got this morning something coming in for Jan saying, happy morning. It is. It is a happy morning. And let's see here. See here, we got Jeff Johnson saying good morning. We got a few drops of rain yesterday evening out in Happy Valley. Certainly a happy and welcome sight. That's awesome. Good morning and happy Thursday too from Sharon. We got some new people on here today. That's great. We've also got Jay saying good morning, loving the cooler weather. Well, thank you all so much for chiming in this morning. How you doing this morning? Again, hopefully enjoyed that rainfall that we did see yesterday. I don't anticipate to see much of that here as we kind of move on through. Let's see here. Let's do this. Before we get to the fires, let's take a look at the National Calendar Day. So we have got National Hazy IPA Day. If you're a beer drinker, today might be an excuse to go out there and maybe get a hazy IPA. National Leathercraft Day. Who doesn't enjoy celebrating Leathercraft Day? I mean, everybody's a leather crafter, right? National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. Now, I enjoy lemon meringue pie, but I'll be honest with you, I try to avoid sugar. If I'm going to cheat, probably won't be lemon meringue. I got to be honest with you. Not a big lemon meringue pie. I mean, I enjoy it. Listen, if it sits in front of me and I'm not worried about, sugar intake and all that stuff, yeah, I'll eat some lemon meringue pie. But I think I'd rather have something else. National Relaxation Day. Now that is a day I can get, look at that. Get out the hammock, put it between a couple of trees, relax, maybe read a book. Do people read books anymore? I think so. You got to still read those books. Got to keep them going. All right. Well, let us now get to the fires. Now the fires, well, we take a look at, first of all, the air quality. And if you live east of the fire, Boise fire in particular, you've got poor air quality, right? And that's pretty much been the case here the last several days. So that goes into Mount Shasta, that goes into Wairika. I got a report from one of you saying that you had actually been getting some ash coming in from the fire in Wairika. So, no bueno there, right? But yeah, the air quality is not looking so great out there. I did want to show you this because this is coming in from the Boise Fire Incident Command. And you can see right here, the fire perimeter. The fire perimeter with the dots is the latest fire perimeter that, we have access to. Where you see the lines, those horizontal lines, that is intense heat. It's kind of a heat perimeter. That's where we've seen most of the growth, which was the north and into the east side of the fire. And that is where we also don't have access to that latest fire perimeter. So when we're looking at the maps on my weather computer, keep in mind that especially the north and east side of that fire, it is a little bit outside of where we're going to be looking at those fire perimeters. But we'll take a look at some of the growth that we've seen the last 24 hours and what we anticipate here with that fire weather. All right, so let's go and take a look at, again, this is the latest that I have access to. So the solid red is where you have the fire perimeter from 24 hours ago. So you can see some of the growth that we've seen here in the last 24 hours. And let's take a look now what we're looking at here. Oh, you know what, folks? That's not true. Hold on one second. That right there is not correct information. I apologize. That's terrible. I know what I need to do. I know what happened. Let's do this. Tell you what. Give me just 1 second, folks, and we'll get into it. You get a shot of me kind of doing some work here. Man, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that, folks. I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay. Sorry to waste your time here as I try to fix this problem. But, that's, I guess, part of the fun and the interactivity of it all. There we go. That's all proper and correct information. All right, we'll just deal with that a little bit later. All right, so let's start with the park fire. So the park fire at this point, is it still in there? Yeah, there we go. The park fire at this point, as of 5 o'clock this morning, was 41% contained at over 429,000 acres. Let's bring you to the northeast side of the fire, where, of course, that's been the biggest concern. This fire perimeter, folks, has not changed over the last 24 hours. So everything you're looking at here is pretty much just status quo. Mill Creek, Mineral, Childs Meadows, all in good shape. Don't have to worry about it at this point. No containment lines from those communities, but we haven't seen any growth or any changes in that overall fire perimeter. Take a look at this. This is new information coming in last night and this morning. 100% containment when we're talking about the hill fire. So Willow Creek, Burnt Ranch, Blue Lake, you can all rest easy. That'll probably be the last I report on that. This is now the latest. So the solid red is 24 hours ago. I was like looking at it going, what? That's not right. So where you see the kind of the darker red and the white line, that is the latest fire perimeter. Still have 0% containment. That is not correct information on the acreage. So let me fix that. Let me fix that, because we do have some new acreage on there. And that was just kind of coming in here. I know I have it. Wrong fire. Give me a second. We're going to update this. 9,690 acres is what we're looking at here. So it has grown significantly. 690 acres. There you go. We fixed it. Good. Save it up. And that, again, is look at it. So we are now, when we kind of take a look at that fire perimeter, and that's mainly from the firing operation, by the way, that they did up on that ridge just to the east of Orleans, but it's at about 2.5 miles. Now, we zoom it out here, and what we're looking at here, just for the sake of people who, say, live in Hoopa, you might be wondering, well, what does it look like for me? Well, you're about 14.5 miles. You're still a good distance, and we have seen some minor growth to the south over the last 24 hours, but not a ton. Let's kind of get some better perspective on this here. And again, 9,690 acres, 2.5 miles. Let's take a look now. And again, unfortunately, don't pay attention to that other the solid red there, but what you're looking at there is the most recent here. So you can see here, 6.1 miles from Soames Bar. It has to go over a couple of ridges before it makes it there. And again, just kind of give us some perspective there. You can see that firing operation on the ridge there. just to the east of Orleans. So, I mean, they're kind of deep down in that valley, and there's that mountain ridge right up to just to the east of Orleans. So that's where that firing operation is. And that's, you know, by doing that, what that does is as the fire approaches, it gives the fire less fuel to burn. So it's easier for them to kind of prevent the fire from kind of going down. Now, what I did see is what they call some slop. What that is basically on, I believe on this side of the ridge, there was some slop. Let me see if I can get in there and maybe do a, we'll kind of do something like this. I'm not exactly sure exactly where it was, but I was looking at, they had a helicopter out there kind of looking it up. And I believe what they call slop, which is basically you have that, that line right here. So you have this line, oops, hold on one second. We have that line, okay, geez. We have this line right here. That's the firing operation line, again, to help prevent it. Now, they had mentioned, and they saw, and you're looking at the infrared image coming in from the helicopter that was flying over it, there was a little bit of slop. So basically a fire, or like a bit of a spot fire, if you will, that had gone on that side of the slope. Hopefully they were able to kind of get in, you know, get that in line, but that's just kind of to basically give you an idea of what we were looking at that point. That's pretty much it on that. Let's take a look at the heat signature coming in for the park fire. And so you look at this, you got some lighter shades of yellow in there. That is about 4 to 5 days old. So we haven't really seen any recent fire activity coming out of that fire. So that's really good news. Before we get into the forecast, what's going on with the fires and the smoke and all that good stuff, let's see if Purple Air Map now says Chester is 32 is your reading from last night. Well, let's take a look at what Purple Air has right now. Let's get to that. We'll go ahead and do a refresh on that. And for Chester, yeah, it looks like Chester is actually at 17 this morning. So yeah, some good air quality there. You know, most of that smoke was coming from the park fire, right? So the good news is we're not seeing as much activity coming in from the park fire. So that's why you have much better air quality in places like Chester. Friends having a wedding on the beach Saturday in Eureka. Oh, Catherine. Oh, Catherine. I wish I could tell your friends something differently, but I mean, you're talking about the potential for showers and thunderstorms on the coast on Saturday. So they may want to have some kind of indoor backup plan, or at least some kind of big tent that they can do, because yeah, that's unfortunate. I feel bad for them. We got Rebecca Lynn saying good morning. Yay, so happy to hear the hill fire is 100% contained. Exactly, I was happy to hear about that too. I mean, it's been kind of sitting at 98% for a long time, but I hadn't seen any growth or any new fire perimeters coming out. So that was, you know, not too much of a surprise, but certainly when you get that confirmation that it's 100%, that's really great to see here. All right, well, let's get to the forecast now. Just kind of a quick forecast with the fire forecast, right? So we're going to take a look at the smoke. Now, one of the things we're going to notice with the smoke is the fact that we're going to see a little bit of a shift in that wind. You see how it's kind of pushing to the southeast and then a little bit more to the east this afternoon, but it is kind of migrating to the south and east. So later tonight and into tomorrow morning, I do anticipate to see some smoke in the valley area. Taking a look at the winds right now, I did notice this morning a little gusty out in the Reading area, especially on the west side of Reading. So those winds a little strong in those areas, but as we take a look at the wind forecast for today, should be a little gusty later on this afternoon and kind of in the same areas, not to mention in the eastern mountains. And but overall, nothing too terribly unusual. Now, we take a look at the humidity for today. It's still going to be rather dry, but again, at least we're not in the single digits that we've seen over the last few weeks. Take a look at that fire weather risk. Again, if a new fire should start, the areas in orange are where we can see the fire spread fairly rapidly. Don't really see it as being a major risk because we're kind of just barely in the orange, putting us in that moderate to barely in the high category. Otherwise, elsewhere, the fire weather risk is in that low to barely in the moderate category. Take a look at Lake Oroville Dam, and it looks like not a lot of water coming out of the release there. This is a look at Lake Oroville North Forebay, and the lake is looking really smooth. Not much in the way of winds up there. Taking a look at Main Street Chico on Highway 32. Dump truck and a bus waiting at the light. There you can see Highway 99 at Neal Road, and the traffic looks to be flowing smoothly. Looks like some traffic heading after the light just turned green, but otherwise looking at mainly blue skies out there. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive in Reading. Nothing unusual there. Hey, you know what today is? Today is Thursday. So we've got our NorCal Ag Report. Now, Jerry O'Lennon, who does a couple of reports for me a month for the NorCal Ag Report, went out and talked to someone in the Butte County area about sweet corn. Who doesn't love sweet corn? So we're going to learn more about that sweet corn and where you can get it and why it's sweet and why it's so darn good. Again, your NorCal Ag Report sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. I want to thank them for their sponsorship.
Hi there, I'm Jerry O'Lennon for Weather NorCal, and I'm at the Chico State Farm. And this is the Ag Report sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. A hot item here at the University Farm these days is sweet corn. And they're going like hotcakes is what I'm hearing. I'm with Chris Putz. He is the, what's your title here?
Crop technician for the University Farm.
And tell me about this sweet corn. Is this something unique that's grown here in this area?
Well, it's grown throughout California, and we just figured sweet corn's a pretty big market for certain people. You know, certain times of year for barbecue, they love to go to the store and get sweet corn, so we figured we would tap into that market and start growing it for the community.
Tell us the difference between regular corn that you might get on a cob, that you might get in the store, when you put salt on it, and sweet corn. I mean, it's sweeter, but what makes it sweeter?
It's the exact same stuff. It's just there's different kinds of corn. Like, we grow grain corn out here also, so that goes towards the market, and for example, like silage corn for the dairy. So there's different corns. Obviously, if you go out into the field, like you drive around here and you see corn, it's probably grain corn, so you don't want to run out in the field and take that because it's disgusting. But this is obviously, this is grown for food. So
have you tried it?
Of course.
Is it wonderful?
Oh, dangerously good.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about how many people have come out here to get this corn.
Thousands, probably.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of repeat customers. A lot of times after they get it the first time, nobody buys it from the store anymore. They come out here all the time. So
now, looking at the sign over there, it says 50 cents per ear, I guess. $5 for a dozen. That's a nice deal, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't gotten a single complaint about pricing. Everybody's like, oh, you're cheaper than the store and better than the store. So once they have this, they always keep coming back.
Is this something you're going to do on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think so. After this year, the community loves it, and if we stopped, I think they'd get a little angry. So I think as the years goes on, it's going to be more and more popular.
Is the items that are purchased on this farm, at the University Farm, are they lower priced than what you might see in a grocery store? If so, why?
It depends. Sometimes, like when we do our peaches, if you get it at the store, it's a little bit more expensive, but the quality is vastly better. So if you buy a peach from the store versus you come out here, probably next week we'll have our peach sales, you'll notice the difference right away. And same thing, if you try this corn, you won't buy it from the store anymore.
Why is that?
It's just fresher. A lot of times we'll pick this a couple times a week, so it goes straight from the field into the cold box, and then we put it out the next morning, versus if you get it from the store, it'll be picked, thrown on a truck, transferred to cold storage, so it might be a week till it's out on the shelves, and each day it gets a little less sweet. So if you get it straight from the field and eat it that night, you can notice a difference.
Chris, tell me about how much supply you had. Is it going to last another week, another 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, we'll be all the way through August, possibly into the beginning of September, because we staggered the planting. So about every 7 to 10 days we planted an acre. So as soon as one block is too far gone, we move on to the next block. Once that one's too far gone, we move on to the next one. So we planted about 12 acres, about an acre every week. So we have plenty of corn.
I've been speaking with Chris Putz of University Farms. Thank you so much. And if you want to get some of this corn, we have on the screen the address and the hours of operation. There you have it, another edition of the Ag Report, sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. I'm Jerry O'Lennon for Weather NorCal.
Well, I want to thank Jerry for that report, and we've got Rebecca chiming in this morning, and she's saying, this corn is so good She put a lot of O's in that. And she really enjoys it. Get some. Probably about, what, 4 or 5 exclamation points. Buy extra for your freezers. 3 exclamation points. So she obviously is very passionate about this corn. It is good. You know, as Jerry was interviewing that guy mentioning that, you know, thousands of people coming out. I've had the opportunity, it wasn't from that farm, but I've had the opportunity, I think it was in Tehama County years ago. I remember getting some sweet corn and just remember, like, for the first time I'd ever had sweet corn. And just like the guy said, it's like dangerously good. It is so good. I mean, you just like, wow, could it be that good? But yes, it was. It was so good. So thanks again to Jerry O'Lennon for, of course, that report. And of course, I want to thank Lassen Canyon Nursery for their support of Weather NorCal and, of course, sponsoring the NorCal Ag Report. Without our sponsors, Weather NorCal would not exist. So I want to thank the folks out there at Lassen Canyon Nursery for their support. Well, let's kind of check in with you before we actually do get to the main forecast here. And we have got, oh, this is kind of fun. We have got Michael Summers saying, love Jerry O'Lennon. He tops. All right, good. Glad you're enjoying it. And he sends another question. Interesting question to share. My mom has been getting some headaches, which she believes may be caused by barometric pressure. How accurate is this? I've heard of people getting aches and pains in their joints when a storm system is approaching, and that's essentially when the pressure is actually getting lower and the barometric pressure begins to drop. But I mean, I can't speak from this from a scientific standpoint if that's actually true. I haven't read any articles or done any research on this, so I can't tell you for sure if it's true. But some people have claimed, whether it's pains or aches in their joints, that maybe they're noticing that if a storm is approaching, they start getting headaches, that it may have something to do with that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that for sure, but maybe someone has a good link or something that they could check it out here. Oh, we got something going on Saturday. Jackie is mentioning, Jackie Dixon is saying, Bikes by the Bay is happening in Eureka on Saturday. So it might be a little wet for Bikes on the Bay as well. So there you have it. Looks like we're going to be looking at that rain, and it could damper some plans that some of you may have over the weekend on the coast in particular, but some of that could be making its way into the valley as well. But we'll get into that. In fact, right now, let's take a look at your deeper dive forecast. And of course, Wind River is the sponsor. It's made possible. Coffee with Krueger is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. I want to thank Wind River for their support. All right, let's take a look at those temperatures out there right now, and you can see fairly mild. You know, I was actually able to open the window this morning in my office, in my studio, and to let some of that cooler air in. It's nice to get that fresh air. 67 degrees for Redding, 72 degrees in Chico right now, 48 for Alturas, 55 for Mount Shasta City. And there you can see Crescent City right now, temperature of about 56 degrees. Here's your headlines. Cooler weather lasts well into next week. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, that's taking to Saturday. Stronger winds going into the weekend, but no big heat waves going into next week. So we have to really just kind of unpack all of this and tell you what's going on. Let's go into some detail here and talk about it. First of all, let's talk about the winds. You may have noticed if you're in Redding, and especially in West Redding, kind of the west side of the valley, a little gusty out there this morning. But it's nothing terribly unusual, nothing to be terribly concerned about, I'd say. The humidity is a little bit higher. That helps to offset some of the impacts of those winds. Now, as we go through the afternoon to this evening, west side of the valley still again looking at some gusty winds at times. Not to mention the eastern mountains into Modoc County too. Bit of that north wind out along the coast. Now, Friday, good news. The winds overall are dying down. Still some patches of green in there indicating over 20 miles per hour in some spots here. But we're looking at an overall downward trend with those winds on Friday. But we got an area of low pressure that's developing off towards, that's coming in from the north and west. And look at this big area where we're beginning to really see those winds pick up. And some very gusty winds as we start heading to the north end of the valley. I mean, you're getting into the 30, possibly close to 40 mile an hour range. Is this a concern? It is. It is a concern. However, it's going to be offset by the fact that the humidity levels are going to be up that day as well. Let's see what I'm talking about. So here's today. You see 16% in Chico, 29% for Chester. So kind of split the difference there for where the park fire is. And of course, the typical higher humidity out towards the Boise fire. Here's Friday. Actually, humidity levels going down just a little bit, but as mentioned, those winds are dying down a little bit on Friday. But take a look at Saturday. Those winds picking up, you can clearly see those winds, but look at the humidity. We're getting close to 30% as you head into Chico, northeastward, and look at all of that moisture that we're seeing and the higher humidity that we're seeing in the foothills, not to mention more moisture off to the west. Now, there's a reason why the humidity levels are going up, and that's because we've got winds coming in from the southwest, okay? That's coming off of the ocean. Now, this is a colder ocean, so the impacts of that, we'd say, over the Gulf of Alaska, where the temperatures are like, you know, the water temperatures are over 80 degrees there, that's water, more evaporation in the air, more humidity. That air evaporates over that Gulf of Alaska more, so as the wind blows, it takes in that moisture and that humidity and pushes it over the land, and they see very humid conditions in Texas as a result. For us, you see less evaporation over those colder waters, which are like 50, 60 degrees, right? And we don't see as much evaporation over that water. So even though you've got that wind coming in from the ocean, it is a little bit more moist. It does have a little bit more humidity, but not to the same extent as if it were, say, a warmer body of water. So something to take into account, but again, it's helping to contribute to the higher humidity levels that we are going to see on Saturday. So that should help offset the gusty winds that we will see on Saturday, but we still got to be concerned about the Boise fire and the park fire. That may cause a few more flare-ups than we'd like to see, despite the fact that the humidity levels are going up. All right, so there's a look at Thursday. There you can see, of course, for today, those gusty winds in the northwest side of the fire. Friday, it's in that moderate range. We go into Saturday. You see how it picks up a little bit, because this is where we're seeing really the strongest winds. But again, because it's being offset by the higher humidity levels, we're not getting into that extreme category. We're still kind of just in that high category. But you can clearly see those winds coming in from the southwest. Let's take a look at that forecast smoke. And so for today, we're going to see probably another plume of smoke coming in, several plumes probably, from the Boise fire. That will kind of push to the east-southeast. But look what happens as we go into tonight. That really starts to spread southward. So we'll probably smell smoke. We'll probably see air quality diminish as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning for many of us in the valley. Chico maybe not as bad, but you probably will at the very least see some haze, but maybe some smoke there as well. Then as we go into Friday afternoon, that does start to dissipate a bit. We'll call it smoky, hazy for the valley tomorrow. And then there's some more plumes of smoke coming in from the fire, pushes a little bit to the east, and then it kind of settles on itself here as we go into Friday night. Probably not as bad with that smoke Friday night for the valley. And this is, again, this is something I talked about at the very top of the show. Look at that. That's the disturbance that moved through us yesterday. This is the disturbance that brought us those surprise showers. And I'll say that confidently because I was not forecasting rain for the north end of the valley around the Redding area yesterday. I said no rain, and it rained. Strike against my Krueger forecaster, but that's okay. I don't mind being wrong in that situation. And I don't think I heard anyone complaining about, especially if they're even caught off guard. Maybe you're outside and you're like, what's this? What's this falling from the sky, right? It was rain. We saw some rain out there. I was inside hanging out, pitter-patter on the roof. I'm like, what? Then I looked outside and yes, that nice smell of fresh, moist air and that wet pavement. Oh, it was so nice. So yes, I was very happy to see that. Not so happy in Siskiyou County, obviously, because we did see some pretty strong thunderstorms there. The rain was a welcome sight, but the winds, the lightning strikes that they saw, not such a welcome sight. But as you can see, that has moved on out. And it's still producing some of the rain. You can see that spin. That's the instability of that area of low pressure. That's kind of coming on in. In the meantime, we're also tracking the kind of an area of low pressure here. This is all moving eastward, but we're going to start to see a lot of this right here begin to shift down to the south and to the west of us. So by Saturday, that could include a chance for showers for many of us. Let's take a look at that on Futurecast. So this afternoon, more afternoon cumulus clouds in the mountains. Could we see a straight shower in Siskiyou County, Modoc County, maybe even northern Trinity County? Not entirely out of the question, but don't count on it. Don't count on it to be like it was yesterday either, nowhere near that. That's the case again on Friday. We're not going to see much change. More clouds developing, maybe a stray shower here and there, but overall, mainly dry conditions. And there you can see that marine layer kind of hugging the coast there. But look at this off to our west, north and west. Let's take you into Saturday. So there's a look at Saturday at noon. That rain is beginning to approach. We've got a bit of a weak cold front, if you will. A few showers beginning to develop. Now, you'll notice the clouds probably coming in through, kind of increasing on Saturday, even for the valley. Let's take you into about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can see still some rain, maybe some thunderstorms along the coast. Siskiyou County, Trinity County, all seeing that. So this whole area is seeing that potential for thunderstorms. And look at that. This is really getting really close to the valley. And in fact, you can see around Redding, maybe an isolated shower or even a thunderstorm is not out of the question Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening for the north end of the valley. Now, I've included Red Bluff in there when we look at that extended outlook here, but south of that, most likely dry. You'll also notice Futurecast not picking up on anything here for Modoc County, but I'm going to include a chance in there for Saturday, but I'm going to keep it dry for Lassen and Plumas counties. But, you know, Bernie, not out of the question. South of Bernie, as you start getting south of Bernie, those chances will start to diminish as well. All right, let's go and take a look at the longer range forecast model by Sunday. It's all pretty much gone, and taking you through next week, you see a bit of a spin, right? We got these areas of pressure off to our north and west. That's not going to bring us any rain. That monsoon moisture is kicking in a little bit closer to us, but not quite, staying off to our east. So that's where most of the thunderstorms will be through a majority of next week. But as long as that low pressure is here, that's going to keep the high pressure down to our south and east, and our temperatures are not expected to go up much. So again, this area of low pressure right here, it dives down to the south. That's going to keep this heat from moving on in. But again, this is going to be that source for those winds. So on Saturday, that southwesterly flow of winds, remember I was talking about, it's coming in off the ocean. It's going to be a little bit more humid. It's not humid, a little bit more moisture associated with that wind. It's going to keep those humidity levels up a little bit higher. So as a result, it will help to offset the gusty winds. It'll offset it a little bit, but we're still going to have that elevated fire danger because of the winds, no matter what that humidity level is really doing, right? Well, I mean, if it gets up to really high, then it shouldn't be a concern at all. But we can see as we go into Monday, that pushes to the north, but we have some reinforcing cooler air staying behind. That may keep the winds a little breezy as we go into Sunday, Monday as well. We'll have to see what happens with those winds. But bottom line, this big trough of low pressure right here is keeping this heat down to the south and east. So we're not going to see those temperatures really increase. That low pressure system, this one kind of fizzling out, this one weak, but again, we may still see some winds associated with that, but keeping that area of high pressure off to our east. And then as we go into Thursday, Friday, that low pressure is still just hanging out. And it's going to keep that heat from building in. So it looks like temperatures should stay below normal for the extended outlook. So the temperatures do drop with that chance for rain on Saturday. Temperatures increase a little bit here, but staying below normal. The normal high in the valley is somewhere in the upper 90s. We should be well below that here through majority, if not all of next week. Take a look at our wave heights, and you can see, of course, they're not going to be changing much here for today. Look closely. There is some animation in there. It's not moving though, so we're not going to see much change here at those wave heights. But still some patchy dense fog in some areas here, so just be aware of that. If you're going to be out on a small fishing boat, you may run into some patchy fog while you're out there fishing. Northwest winds at about 5 to 10 knots. Waves from the northwest at 2 feet at 4 seconds. And from the northwest at 3 feet at about 10 seconds. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. A little bit smoky. There's that chance for thunderstorms as we take you into your Saturday. Temperatures in the 80s as we go into the weekend, upper 80s by Monday through Wednesday. Let's take you down to the south with Wildwood about 76, 83 for Hayfork, 79 for Ruth, and 78 degrees in High-and-Palm. And we take you out to the north coast, and you can see about 76 for Miranda, 81 for Garberville, and Honeydew about 76 degrees. All of the north coast, inland, along the coast, all seeing the chance for showers, maybe even some thunderstorms here as we take you into your Saturday. It's also the case heading northward with 69 degrees for Trinidad, Hoopa about 85 degrees, and that chance for showers and thunderstorms to start off the weekend. 66 in Smith River, 72 degrees for Gas Key, and there you can see Oric about 64 degrees. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, hazy and smoky out there. Also that chance for thunderstorms here for Saturday. Now, as I mentioned, today and tomorrow, there could be a stray shower coming under some of those clouds. But overall, not as active as it was yesterday you saw in Siskiyou County. Greenview about 80 today. Fort Jones and Scott Valley about 76 and 79 degrees for Callahan. Central and eastern Siskiyou County. Also, that chance for thunderstorms on Saturday with 79 for Mount Shasta today and Tule Lake about 75 degrees. How about your Modoc County neighborhood forecast? Now, again, I do want to stress that I have included the chance for thunderstorms here on Saturday for Modoc County. The chances are going to be much slimmer than, say, Siskiyou County and even to the west of that, because the flow around that area of low pressure is going to probably try to cut itself off by the time it makes its way into Modoc County, meaning drier conditions, and not to mention to the south into Lassen and Plumas counties as well. So when we look at that 7-day outlook, plenty of sunshine even for Bernie. However, I'll say this. On Saturday, don't be surprised if maybe you see a stray shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Maybe for, say, Bernie to the south and west towards Montgomery Creek. As you start heading south of that, Viola, Shingletown, Paynes Creek, most likely you won't see anything on Saturday, but something worth watching. Taking a look at your Lake Elminor and Lassen Park, Chester, Lassen Park, all looking at dry conditions. I don't expect any thunderstorms on Saturday. Paradise about 85 degrees. I think you'll be dry, not to mention in Susanville, you'll be looking at temperatures in the mid-80s by Monday. Taking a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast. So when we look at the 7-day outlook for Chico, no showers, no thunderstorms in the 7-day outlook, even on Saturday. All right, but taking you northward, let's take you out to Red Bluff. Here's your Red Bluff 7-day outlook. Saturday, I put the word chance in there. Slight chance for a shower, maybe even a thunderstorm. And then as we head northward, for Redding, we got that chance for showers and thunderstorms as well. But also notice the significantly cooler weather. We're going to struggle to get out of the 80s, if at all, this weekend. It warms up a little bit here as we go into Monday and Tuesday, but it looks like it's going to be dry and sunny and the works. What you got going on out there this morning? It's good listening to you again. Finally, a little break from work. Well, yeah, always good. I'm assuming you're working on the farm or something, because I see from your picture there that you got a tractor. So maybe you're out there on a tractor, maybe a little bit of a break. Just saw, oh, maybe that's changed. Mary Mack saying, just saw that the fire is, well, let's check. Yeah, I mean, these are all moving targets, man. We you know, I can report on it, and then 2 seconds later, it changes. Let's take a look. Yeah, you're right. There it is. Coming in from watch duty, the park fire is now 45% contained. Well, thank you, Mary Mac Frame, for giving me a heads up on that. Doesn't look like the acreage has changed. We're still at 429,263 acres, but the containment, we're getting closer to 50%. This is great. Great, great, great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So happy to see that. So thanks again, Mary, for the oh, okay. So Lisa Steve is saying it's true. She's saying it is true. I have a weather knee. Yeah, probably. I mean, and again, I'm laughing because it's just kind of funny. But no, I hear you, because I think there are people, I don't experience it, but I've heard so many people that happens. Their knee, their elbow, a little pain in their neck, whatever, right? Typically, though, it's knees. But sometimes their hips can feel it. So, yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me that, you know, some of you are certainly experiencing that. So thank you, Lisa, for chiming in on that one. Interesting, always interesting to hear what a lot of you have to say. Well, that's going to do it for us today, folks. Let's leave you with, you know, a couple of cameras out there. We're going to take a look at, well, let's start with that North Forebay, and then we'll kind of work our way around there. And we'll leave you with some of those cameras. Hope you have yourselves a great Thursday. Today is Thursday for me, which means I get dessert day. Yay! I don't know what I'm going to have yet, but I'm going to have something good. Probably not lemon meringue pie, though, that's for sure. Gene saying, have a good day, Mike. Thanks, Gene. And you too. I see you have a tractor in your profile picture as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for your Friday edition of Coffee with Krueger. Until then, Have a great day.